Or how do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
I mean, what he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
I haven't seen Gervonta Davis in another sexual assault allegation, lawsuits incoming, potentially criminal charges levied. We don't know yet. That fight is up in the air, and I think that fight's not going to happen, and they're going to either have to move the fight back or they're going to have to look to a replacement or both. I don't know.
This fight is still technically scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters, and the names that they're looking at contacting to fight as a late replacement.
Floyd Mayweather has once again sent shockwaves through the boxing world, issuing a bold challenge to Jake Paul following the cancellation of Gervonta "Tank" Davis's fight due to Tank's ongoing legal issues. In a fiery statement, Mayweather declared he's ready to step in and face Jake, and this time, it won't be an exhibition. The undefeated legend made it crystal clear that he refuses to move up in weight or play by special rules, insisting the bout would be a true professional fight.
But at the time, people badly wanted you and Jake Paul to fight. Is he someone you're interested in or no?
Well, if you go back, you gotta do your homework, look on the internet. I think he was doing a sit down on a podcast one time, and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. And of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money. And
Due to the ongoing lawsuit and active investigation, Gervonta Davis's highly anticipated exhibition bout against Jake Paul has been officially cancelled. In a firm statement, Davis's promoter, Most Valuable Promotion,
the situation, he was supposed to be boxing Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a man that weighs 133 pounds or 135. Regardless, it's a man that is way smaller than Jake. So that is just ridiculous, and I've given my thoughts on that before anyway. But now it turns out that Gervonta Davis has some allegations about domestic abuse. I don't know too much about the situation, but apparently Netflix have pulled the plug on that fight. It says, here's a reading from Mike Coppinger. As reported, Jake Paul's return could shift to December with the November 14th Netflix exhibition in jeopardy due to the latest allegations against Gervonta Davis. This tells Ring magazine that December 12th and the 19th.
Gervonta Davis is now at the center of a serious civil lawsuit filed by his former girlfriend, Courtney Rosal, stemming from an alleged incident on October 27th at a Miami nightclub where she is employed. In her filing, Rosal accuses Davis of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit claims Davis violently dragged and assaulted her across multiple areas of the venue, including
Gervonta "Tank" Davis faces new abuse claims from a woman who claims to be his ex-girlfriend. This is according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Courtney Russell says she dated Davis for 5 months and recently filed a civil lawsuit accusing him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, and other offenses. She claims Davis physically attacked her a number of times during their relationship. Russell claims the most recent incident was Monday at a Miami nightclub. Davis is scheduled to fight Jake Paul.
Chael Sonnen has spoken out amid the turmoil surrounding the rumored cancellation of the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta "Tank" Davis showdown, revealing that he personally contacted both camps in search of the truth. Sonnen said he reached out to representatives from Jake's team and Tank's side to confirm whether the cancellation whispers were real, but neither offered him a clear answer. Their eerie silence, Sonnen noted, only fueled growing speculation that something serious was unfolding behind closed doors. He hinted that when both fighters refuse to deny a cancellation, it's rarely a simple scheduling issue.
Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. my life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jiu was so incredibly useless, like, these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in. I want to say it was...
With Gervonta Tank Davis's fight now in jeopardy, Floyd Mayweather has stepped into the spotlight, calling out Jake Paul to face him head-on. Never one to mince words, Mayweather has been brutally honest about Paul's boxing credentials, acknowledging his success in the crossover entertainment scene but refusing to recognize him as a true boxer. The undefeated legend dismissed the idea of a matchup as too easy, making it clear he believes Paul poses no real threat to someone of his elite caliber.
For many, many people believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually...
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually... He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know, where his mindset's at.
Adding to the intrigue, Floyd Mayweather's long-standing reluctance to grant rematches has often left fans questioning the what-ifs of his storied career. In stark contrast, Jake Paul has built his record by taking out opponents who are either well past their prime or significantly smaller in size, raising doubts about the legitimacy of his rise.
Jake Paul now fighting Mike soon in the summer. What do you think defines a real boxer? Because I feel like people are still confused on if Jake Paul is a YouTuber boxer or a real boxer. How do you feel like you get out of that bubble to make somebody a real boxer?
What he's doing is, I mean, kind of cool. If he can continue to steal money, and they match him the way they match him, I can't knock his hustle. So if they can match him the way how they've been matching him.
Meanwhile, many fighters and analysts continue to praise Floyd Mayweather not only for his lightning-fast reflexes and impenetrable defense, but for his unbreakable mindset. They argue that Mayweather's true weapon was his unyielding self-belief and
really believe in themselves, but you need more than that mindset. You need to have the full package of everything that I'm talking about, what Floyd has got.
Fighters should only want to get better. The more you win, the more you should work hard. If you think about losing, you're going to lose. All I ever thought about was winning. So that's all I know.
Floyd would visualize his success before he even stepped into the ring. There was no alternative to him but winning. And this mindset isn't just for boxing, it's for all walks of life. And I've actually done a full video talking about how I used this mindset of visualization to win my Olympic medal. And it was an absolute game changer. Now, Floyd used to use this mindset to ease the pressure that he put himself under. And he made himself think like, I'm not under any pressure right now, where he was under immense pressure.
Pressure either makes you or break you. Well, you see where I'm at, so it's obvious that I'm the type of athlete or I'm the type of entertainer that can deal with pressure. There's never no pressure.
Now, if you watch his fight in 2013 when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Canelo came in a young, strong, undefeated fighter, but by round 2, Floyd kind of had him figured out. He was reading Canelo's jab. He would slip outside and then come back with a clean counter punch, then move his feet and get out of the way. He basically had the full fight under control, and he was controlling the full rhythm of the fight. He was forcing Canelo to fight at his pace. And this is what he would do in all of his fights. He would get his opponent to do what he wanted them to do without their opponent even realizing it, which is what we call boxing IQ. Now, even though I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather personally, because of the time when I did meet him, what he said to me made me just feel like this guy is a piece of shit.
Reports have begun circulating that Floyd Mayweather is now setting his sights on a potential showdown with Mike Tyson, a move analysts say is far more than just another lucrative spectacle. Many believe this bold step reflects Mayweather's determination to prove he still commands the spotlight, even long after retirement. With the buzz surrounding the Davis vs. Paul saga reaching a fever pitch, Floyd appears unwilling to let anyone, not even his own protege, steal his thunder. Observers call this vintage Mayweather, a man driven by attention, competition, and an unrelenting.
And so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is not able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson, and in order to manage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think is bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media areas. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about whether...
According to multiple reports, Jake Paul's promotional team is now scrambling to find a high-profile replacement for Gervonta Tank Davis, whose scheduled bout has been thrown into chaos by ongoing legal allegations. In a stunning twist, insiders suggest that Paul's camp has reached out to none other than Terence Crawford, one of boxing's most elite and respected champions, as a potential opponent. While several names have surfaced amid the speculation, nothing has been officially confirmed. Still, the mere mention of Crawford's involvement has electrified the boxing world. A matchup of that magnitude would instantly elevate the fight's credibility and stakes to unprecedented levels. At this stage, Crawford has not signed or agreed to anything formally.
Scheduled for November 14th to air on Netflix, but it's basically hanging on by a thread. But the team, Jake Paul's team, have reportedly gone and contacted all the fighters. And the names to fight as a late replacement: Ryan Garcia, Terence Crawford, Francis Ngannou. I mean, come on, we'll get into them. And Nate Diaz. So he's already fought Nate Diaz, but let's go through them one by one. I mean, Ryan Garcia, he's a similar size to Gervonta Davis. He's bigger though. Davis made him come down, didn't he? Then he beat him up. So that was Ryan Garcia. Quite a bad loss for Garcia, that was, because he was up for the fight, but Gervonta Davis beat Garcia. Garcia also isn't really big enough with Jake Paul, but that's a fight that potentially could happen. Garcia is a massive name. He's a big he's a social media star. He's a big public figure. Loads of followers on Instagram and social. I mean, his Instagram's over 1 million, I'm sure it is. He's just a big name, good-looking kid, great fighter, fast hands, and he's quite controversial as well. So that'd be a good fight, but the weight disparity, again, it's too big. So for me, when I say it'd be a good fight, it'd be interesting to see how Ryan Garcia would go in against Jake Paul. But to be honest, Jake Paul's far too big for him. Who else has got? I can't see Terence Crawford entertaining this, but then you never know, do you? If the old bunts make sense, then it makes people do strange things. And Terence Crawford's getting on now. What is he, 37, 38 years old? Had that great win against Canelo. Would he jump in with Jake Paul for mega money? Probably. He'd paced him as well. I mean, Terence Crawford would be too much for Jake Paul, even though he's up at 168 in his last fight, super middleweight, my old weight division. So I don't think Jake Paul would fight him. Francis Ngannou, I mean, why even chuck Ngannou in the mix? Ngannou would just hammer him. He's too big. I mean, he talked about Anthony Joshua. That never happened, did it? It's a load of bollocks. He talked about fighting AJ, then announced he's fighting someone the size of one of AJ's legs in Gervonta Davis. So for me, that's nothing. And the Nate Diaz fight, he's already fought him. It was a rough.
Many critics had already voiced strong opposition to the proposed clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis, with former world champion Carl Froch among the most outspoken. Froch slammed the matchup as a rubbish fight, arguing that it holds little to no genuine competitive value. He pointed to Paul's shallow boxing resume and Davis's overwhelming skill and experience as evidence that the bout is more of a circus act than a serious sporting contest. Dismissing Paul as a spectacle fighter rather than a true contender, Froch and
absolute clown world, really fitting for fake Paul, the clown, because it's a clown show. You're putting him in with somebody who's 100 pounds lighter. I mentioned the weight disparity before, getting on for 7 stone. It's a weight-governed sport. It should not be happening. He's too small, Gervonta Davis, against the big Jake Paul, who's in the gym a lot, training. Apparently he's fit and strong and he has a go and he can fight a little bit, which I disagree with because I don't think he can. He might be able to fight a little bit, he certainly can't box. But these allegations against Gervonta Davis, they're very serious allegations. Anybody that's laying hands on women needs to be shut down straight away. They need to be, for me, they need to be locked up in the key.
Amir Khan has sharply criticized the proposed matchup between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis, labeling it a blatant mismatch. Khan blasted the promoters for sanctioning what he described as tantamount to torture, emphasizing that sending a fighter into the ring to risk serious harm is unfair and irresponsible. With Paul reportedly tipping the scales well over 200
a little bit. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he acts, and I think he's just full of himself as well, and he thinks he can fight, and he's only been boxing for what, like a year, but he's been very lucky though. He's had some good wins against like MMA fighters. He's a little bit heavier than me, but I don't mind putting the pounds on. Just
some critics are questioning whether the cancellation of Gervonta Tank Davis's fight was truly necessary, arguing that he remains physically fit and ready to compete despite his ongoing legal troubles. They note that numerous athletes have historically competed while facing active charges, suggesting that the decision may have been driven more by public image and corporate optics than genuine concern for fighter safety. Many fans argue that if Davis is willing and able, the bout should have proceeded as planned, given the massive hype and financial stakes surrounding the event.
So, did Gervonta Davis's cancellation of his fight with Jake Paul, was it the right decision from Jake Paul, his team, and Netflix? Did they make the right move to cancel the Gervonta Davis fight? I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section. We'll probably do a video on this later, but I want y'all to interact and let me know y'all thoughts. Now that we know the fight is canceled, they announced it late yesterday while we were in the middle of our live stream. What is your thoughts? Do you think the fight should have been canceled? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel.
The boxing world is buzzing with a pressing question. Should Floyd Mayweather seize the moment and step into the ring with Jake Paul now?